In this video, we're going to look at polynomial long division. And so we're going to start by reminding ourselves of how to do long division with numbers that you learned probably back around 6th grade or so. So the steps for a long division problem are to step 1, divide. Step 2 is to multiply. Step 3 is to subtract. And step 4 is to bring down. So we're going to do a quick example here of a problem that you might have seen in elementary school. This is 357 divided by 2. And so the 2 goes on the outside of the division symbol, 357 goes underneath. And we start by saying 2 goes into 300, or 3, how many times? And that is once. You want to figure out how many times it goes in without going over. And so we put the 1 on the top, that's the divide step. Multiply 2 times 1, which is 2, and that goes down here. And then we subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1, and then we bring down the 5. So when we do long division, we start at the left side of the number and work our way to the right. And then I repeat the process. So I say 2 goes into 15, how many times? Well, I know that 2 times 7 is 14. That's the most that it can go in. So 2 times 7 is 14, write that underneath. Then I subtract, I get 1, and then I bring down the 7. And then I say 2 goes into 17, how many times? Well, 8 is the most. 8 times 2 is 16. And then I subtract. Now there's nothing left to bring down, so I can write this 1 as a remainder. Whoops, 178 remainder 1, or 178 and 1/2. I can also write it as a fraction. So that's the long division process with numbers. The process when we're working with algebraic expressions is similar steps, but obviously it's different because now we're going to have x's involved. So we're going to start with this one. Divide x squared minus 14x plus 24 by x minus 2. So I'm going to put the x minus 2 on the outside because that's what I'm dividing by. X squared minus 14x plus 24 goes under the division symbol. Now, what I need to think about first is what do I multiply by x to get x squared? So I'm not concerning myself with the minus 2 right now, I'm just concerning myself with the leftmost piece, the x. So what do I multiply by x to get x squared? Well, I need to multiply x by x to get x squared. So I write the x up here, that's the divide step. Then I multiply, just like I multiplied in numerical long division, it's going to be x times x minus 2. And I usually like to write this out kind of on the right side to the right, just to help myself keep track of the results. So x times x minus 2, use the distributive property, and that's x squared minus 2x. And so I'm going to write that down here. Now, the signs here is always what gets people tripped up, so you have to be very careful. I know being careful with signs is a major theme of this class, and it's going to come into play here as well. So x squared minus 2x, now this is going to be subtracted. So when I subtract it, I need to make sure I'm subtracting every term. So this is going to be minus x squared. This minus sign is going to change to plus 2x. So when I subtract, x squared cancels out. Negative 14x plus 2x is negative 12x. And then bring down plus 24. So again, signs, very important, and that's the way that people tend to make mistakes with this, so be careful. Now, it's time for me to repeat the process just like I did in the problem with numbers. So what I want to think about now is, what do I multiply by x to get negative 12x? Well, that would be negative 12. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. So minus 12 is what's going to go up here. I don't worry about the 24 and I don't worry about the minus 2. So negative 12 is what I need to multiply by to get negative 12x. Now I'm going to do the multiply step, multiply negative 12 by x minus 2, what I'm dividing by. And then when I distribute that, I get minus 12x plus 24. Negative times negative is positive. Now again, be very careful with signs. When I write this down here, what I normally like to do if one of them has a plus sign is I normally like to not write the plus sign. I just line it up, because what's going to end up happening here now is I'm going to subtract this. So when I subtract it, negative changes to positive, positive changes to negative. So this is negative 12x plus 12x, that cancels out, plus 24 minus 24 is 0. So for this problem, my remainder is 0, so my answer is just x minus 12. So what you should do next is checkpoint problem number 3. Give this problem a try. This is a little bit different because it's 3x squared instead of just x squared. So what do you multiply by x to get 3x squared? You need to multiply by 3x. So do this problem in your notes, check your answer, and then move on with the rest of the video. Next, we're going to look at example 4. This problem is a little bit different, first of all, because it's not written in order. So that's going to be one of the first things that I need to do. This is going to be 3x minus 2, and then I'm dividing. I'm going to put this in order from biggest exponent to smallest, and remember to keep the signs in front. So minus x squared, minus 5x, and then plus 4. So if you mess that up, obviously that's going to mess up the whole problem. So we're going to start with, what do I multiply by 3x to get 6x to the third? Well, I need to multiply by 2 to get to 6. And I need to multiply by x squared to get from x to the third. So my first term on the top is going to be 2x squared. Now I'm going to multiply 2x squared times what I'm dividing by, and then use distributive property. That's 6x to the third minus 4x squared. So over here, we're going to have 6x to the third minus 4x squared. That's multiply. Now I'm going to do the subtract step. Change sign, change sign. 6x to the thirds cancel out, which is what I want. They should cancel out at that step. And then negative x squared plus 4x squared is 3x squared, positive. So that's subtract and then bring down minus 5x. Okay, next time around, what do we multiply by 3x to get 3x squared? Well, all we need to multiply by is x. Positive because they're both positive. So plus x goes on the top. Multiply x by what you're dividing by, 3x minus 2. Use the distributive property, 3x squared minus 2x. Write it over here. 3x squared minus 2x, subtract, subtract, subtract. X squareds cancel out as they should. Negative 5x plus 2x is negative 3x. And then bring down plus 4. Now, what do I multiply by 3x to get negative 3x? I need to multiply by negative 1. So, negative 1, multiply by what you're dividing by, 3x minus 2, and that's going to give you negative 3x plus 2. So over here, I'm going to write negative 3x plus 2, and then subtract, 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 changes the signs. 3x cancels out, as it should. Plus 4 minus 2 leaves me with positive 2. Now, in this problem, there is a remainder. I don't end up with just 0 at the end. This 2 here is a remainder. So the way that I write this, or in terms of entering my answer into my math lab, the answer is what's on top, 2x squared plus x minus 1. And then it's going to be plus 2 over what you're dividing by. So plus 2 over 3x minus 2. So when I'm entering this into my math lab, look at this example here. What you're going to do is you're going to type in, whatever you get for the first part, and then you're going to type the fraction using the fraction bar. So for this one, it's going to be like 3 over x minus 1. And so you would enter it like that. Again, use the fraction bar to enter that fraction. So what you should do next is checkpoint problem number 4. Now this one, the answer is a little bit different because your remainder is negative. And so there's 2 ways that you can write that. It's going to be, your answer is going to look like this. 2x squared minus x plus 3. You can write plus negative 6 over 2x minus 1, or 3 minus 6 over 2x minus 1. Either way would be fine for entering it into my math lab, so just be aware of that. So do this problem in your notes, see if you can get this answer, and then when you're done, you can move on to the homework.